this is my slogan that I always use, and I say, Instagram is for the show. LinkedIn is for the dough. All right?
We need some sound effects for that. Those are straight facts.
Yes, Instagram is for the show. Man. LinkedIn is for the dough. So if you're trying to get to the bag, you need to get on LinkedIn, start networking. Everybody that you want to ever meet is on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You have every CEO, COO, recruiters, HR. Like you have everybody there.
It's so much money on there.
And it's so much money. So even if, and here's a hack. So even if, so sometimes like, you know, you have different tiers on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Where you can't really reach that CEO in his DM. You can't reach him. But you can comment on his post. You can comment on his post. You can leave value on his post.
Yeah.
And then he may go to his inbox and say, oh, okay, that's the person that left value on my post.
Yeah.
And reach out to you. So we built our company off LinkedIn.
Yo, so we do a lot of talking about the tech industry, you know, breaking into tech, scaling in tech, starting a tech company, different things you can do with your own tech brand, all of that. But a lot of that starts with essentially how it started with me. How did I break into tech? As y'all know, I did a tech bootcamp. So I'm a huge fan of tech bootcamps for a variety of reasons. I'm not going to belabor those points. I'm going to allow my guests to talk on that. But that being said, our guests that we have today are Josh and Quawn, the founders of Pivot Tech. It's a tech bootcamp. So I'm very excited to have these guys on. One, again, they're founders of tech bootcamps. They've been networking. I've seen them in different tech networking events. So they even understand a lot of components, even beyond just running a tech bootcamp. And then beyond that, they are also both black men. They're both men of color. I don't know. Quawn looks like he might have some. I don't know. He might have. I don't know. But for the most part, they brothers. And so love to talk to them about that as well. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Yo, thank y'all, Quawn and Josh, for both of y'all coming on here, being on Tech as a New Black.
No, man, for sure. Thanks for having us, bro.
Yes, it's great, man. You know, we've been actually running into each other for about the last year or so.
Yeah.
So, man, it's good to finally be on your podcast, and we're honored to be here, bro.
Yeah, man, honored to have y'all. I mean, I think our first time meeting was at Afrotech.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was super dope. And that was kind of surreal because it's like one of those things, like you see someone on social media so much, you kind of feel like you've already seen them.
Right?
Yeah. And then, but then seeing each other in person, it's like, oh, this is actually, Afrotech low-key felt like a family reunion.
Man, really, man. Like Afrotech was an amazing experience. That was our first year going.
Yeah, that was mine too. Yeah.
Oh, it was? Okay, yeah. It was crazy, bro.
Yeah, we spoke on a panel. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? And we just seeing so many people. Like, I think people really misunderstand how many black folks are really in tech. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not concentrated within a company, but the network overall is massive, man.
It's crazy.
So it's great to see.
Yeah, it's super wild. Yo, so I'm curious to know, so we could jump into it. So, of course, y'all founded Pivot Tech, but before that, like, what were y'all doing individually, and how did y'all meet each other?
Yo, so I'll kind of give you the quick and dirty about mine. So, you know, I'm a Nashville native, you know, born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. So I started out in tech. I went to Tennessee State University for like 3 semesters. Mm-hmm. Tennessee State, HBCU, 18, 19 years old, not unfocused, you know what I'm saying, black man. It didn't work out, you know what I'm saying? So I stayed there for about 3 semesters, dropped out of TSU, and became a rapper. Yeah. So I rapped, man, like for like 6 years in Nashville, you know, locally. You know, I did my thing. I had a good time, but you know, I always had that gem in the back of my mind that tech was, because I had a foundation because my dad was in tech. So I always seen the landscape and knew what was possible because I was introduced early. Yeah. So, you know, once, you know, I need to settle down. I had a few kids.
But that exposure is so important.
It is. Like, and that piece gave me a leg up on a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I always knew I could go back to it. So later on, I ended up going to a community college and got my associate's degree, right? Yeah. I transferred to WKU to get my bachelor's, but before I could even finish it, I'm already making what I thought I was gonna make when I graduated. So I never finished. I still got maybe 16 credit hours to get my bachelor's degree, you know?
So you got in tech before finishing?
Yeah, before I ever finished.
College, yeah.
And then from there, I was a data analyst. Then I got over, I ran a BI team, and then before you know it, I'm a product owner. I'm just moving up. Yeah,
you was moving around.
Yeah, so before it was trendy to do this, was like 14, 15, 16. I'm just One no boot camps. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna stay here for 12 months. I jumped that, and every time I went up $20,000 or more in my salary. So, but people was like, yo, you need to get still. You need to sit still. I'm like, nah, I got a plan, bro. I'm trying to get the bag. So, I'm making six figures. I'm doing my thing, but it's like, I'm uncomfortable because mind you, I come from, my background is what it is. I have tattoos, and it's like I'm intelligent, but when you're dealing with a lot of people that don't look like you, sometimes there's just a disconnect. So I felt that disconnect in all these different, organizations. Mm-hmm. So one day I just said, man, you know what? I'm done. I'm gonna start my own business. So I started a business called Focal Point Solutions, which is a black-owned tech company. I said, I'm gonna go out and sell my services. And because I saw they charging $200, $300 an hour for my services and paying me $75 an hour. I said, I need it all. You know what I'm saying? So I did that, and
that's a huge word for those of y'all that are in tech sales, where it's like once you kind of get it down or you realize how much the company is making versus they could pay you $150K, but they making like probably $500, $600K off that.
Trust and believe.
Use those skills to eventually when you launch your own thing. But
so after that, I stopped saying, nah, I'm gonna stay in this entrepreneur lane because I'm an entrepreneur by heart, man. And I did that Focal Point, and then I end up starting a brand called Hood Geek. So that's what we have on right now. This is my merch line. Hood Geek is really just about, you talked about that exposure piece. So I was exposed, but coming from my environment, just being in tech, being smart, that wasn't pushed. It was frowned upon. I'm in honest classes, hiding that I'm smart because in my neighborhood where I come from, you're not the cool kid to be smart. You know what I'm saying? So, but now it's like, now we see what you can do in tech and what, what information and intelligence to do for you. Yeah. So Hood Geek is like embracing, where you come from, what makes you, what your genius is. Mm-hmm. So now I want to make that cool to be smart,
That's fire. I mess with it. But so Josh, what is your background? Because I didn't know you had a tech background at all. Yeah. So that's crazy to know that.
So pretty much I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 22 years.
Yeah.
So I've opened up several different type of companies, from restaurants to janitorial services. Yeah. Grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. My longest running business was a dry cleaner. So I had a dry cleaners, co-working space, and an event space, all in the same building. Dang. So on the corner of like 7th and Jefferson Street is like a historically black area, well, used to be a historically black area. Houses 3 HBCUs, so Tennessee State University, Fisk University, Meharry Medical College. So I had a location right there in the heart of that, just running business. And so 2019, I was a part of this leadership study with the Chamber of Commerce. So we went to Austin, Texas. So we traveled to Austin, Texas to figure out what was going on in Austin that we can bring to Nashville. Yeah. Well, we was going to all these tech hubs. Mm-hmm. And we went to Capital Factory. We went to like all these different places that looked like my co-working space. Yeah. But they was all in there learning how to code. They were building tech companies. They were raising lots of money. Yeah. I was never exposed to, that was my first like really exposure to tech. Yeah. And on that trip, I told one of the guys that actually works for us now, I said, hey, man, I'm gonna open up a technology school, right? So literally 2019, I'm like, man, I'm gonna open up a tech school. Now, me and Quawn, here's the crazy thing. Me and Quawn are connected to all the same people. Everybody that Quawn, like his good friends, like we all kicked it in high school and stuff, but I never met Quawn.
We just didn't know each other.
We just never.
We had a very close circle.
So his friends would like one of his closest friends was telling him like, bro, you need to meet Josh. Yeah. Like y'all just need to connect. I think y'all have some synergy. So me and Quawn, so when I came back to Nashville, Quawn reached out to me just randomly. It was like, yo, I'm trying to get connected, trying to move around in the entrepreneurial world. Let's connect. Yeah. And so we literally had a meeting. We had one meeting. We were just talking, bouncing ideas. He was just telling me.
Hood Geek.
We was talking about Hood Geek. Yeah. I was just telling him what I was thinking, what I had going on. And then our second meeting, I was telling him, like, man, you know what? I went to Austin, man. I'm thinking about opening up a technology school. Yeah. And Quawn was like, bro, I think I want. He was like, I'm passionate about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been the only black, blah, blah, blah. And literally, I was like, well, you want to do it? He was like, yeah, let's do it. And we did it. So 2019, we literally put a plan together, came up with Pivot Technology School. All right, we came up with the name. We had a T-shirt and a landing page. We have no curriculum. We have nothing, no instructors. We have nothing, and we announced to everybody like, "Yo, this People Technology School, sign up today."
Yeah,
literally.
And that's such a good parent. Like you, with your extensive entrepreneurial background, you understand the structure of starting a business. Growing a business, all of those different things, a lot of the hurdles that comes with it. Yeah. And then you with your very extensive technical background, and then you not just experiencing one technical role, but various technical roles, knowing what it's like to interview, to get hired, to start, to scale, to jump companies. So it's that's actually a perfect pairing.
Yes. And the thing is that our synergy works because we came in clear, okay, this is what I do well.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know nothing about tech. So I know enough to be dangerous now because I sat literally for 5 months and just listened to Quawn talk.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm just going to listen. I'm listening to all the zingers, all the keywords. And then I literally started developing my pitch because really what I do in the business is do business development. So I do all the partnerships, get with corporations, figure out how we can pipeline individuals, raise the money. I do all that. And then Quawn handles all of the operations and all of the technical stuff. You know what I mean? So,
bro, that's such a good combination. Oh, yeah. That's such a good combination. So what are some of the courses that, and this is something I'm really big on, people doing research and things like that. But I know this is something that people just watching right now would love to know. What are some of the courses that Pivot offers?
So right now we're offering data analytics, cybersecurity, software development. That's big. Yeah, so cyber, I know you guys are big on cyber, and that's one that we kind of double down on. We started with data and software, but information is everywhere, and being able to protect that information is critical, know, and I think as everything goes digital, understanding all the, all the makings of what it takes to essentially be the police force, of data and for the web. So cyber, we partnered recently with CompTIA. So now we're able to provide, certifications in the cyberspace, Security Plus and things of that nature. And we're just really looking to grow that. We started on the front end on software, but now we're offering full stack development. Yeah. And then going more into data science on the data side as well. So,
yeah. And then a couple of things that we're adding this year. ServiceNow. So being able to become a ServiceNow admin, ServiceNow developer, and Salesforce as well. So that you can become a Salesforce admin, a Salesforce developer.
Yeah, so that's important.
Yeah, we're going to start adding those kind of components where you may not be a hardcore coder, but you can still get a skill set that you can really run the bag up in Salesforce or in ServiceNow.
Hey y'all, we have some incredible news, and I'm super excited about to finally announce our private tech community. Yes, you heard that right. A private tech community exclusively for you all who want more than just the podcast. You want more than just the FAQs. You want to talk with tech recruiters. You want to talk with hiring managers. You want to talk with coaches. You want to talk with people that can help with editing and rewriting your resume. Maybe you're somebody where you just want to be a part of a community where we're talking about updates of what's happening in the software industry. Y'all, this community that we've launched is also going to involve a Discord where we're going to be talking about updates in tech. We're going to be talking about companies that are hiring. We're going to be talking about upcoming tech events. So that way you don't have to miss any of the gems that I know, but not even just what I know, but the gems that friends of mine that are also in the tech industry know as well. So if you want to be a part of that community, go ahead and sign up so that way you can join us. We have a few different tiers. Ultimately, it's all tuned in for you. Oh, and last thing, also within this community, we're going to be streaming all of our interviews with our podcast guests. So instead of you having to wait months to watch the videos later on, you will actually be able to watch the interviews in real time and ask your live questions to those guests. So make sure you join our tech community. That's good. Yeah, Salesforce is a big deal. A lot of people don't know, people who are watching this. Like Salesforce being like the number one CRM, it's like they're one of the few tech companies where it's valuable to know something about them, to have like some understanding about what they do, almost no matter what your role is in tech. So that's really good. So there's one of y'all slogans, and Quawn, you had shared this, and I was like, yo, that's actually a dope slogan. It's like pivot now or pay later.
Yeah.
So yo, can y'all break down like what does that mean? Pivot now or pay later?
So I think for me, it's like, you know, a lot of people react to FOMO, right? And it's introducing that, just to being honest, because the problem I see right now is we watch all of these technologies and we watch what's happening, but sometimes, especially, you know, African Americans, Black folks, we're consumers and we watch it. You know, for example, I see you talking AI a lot, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people talking, you know, ChatGPT, and we see all this stuff happening and we're excited about it, not understanding what it's gonna do for the landscape of everything. Yeah. So it's like we reactive. Once we see things change and then we react. Yeah. But you're almost too late. It's almost like when people was getting in crypto and when NFTs was popping, right? Yeah. So by the time you saw which one to get, you done missed the boat, right? Yeah. By the time they're like, oh, Doge is it. So everybody running getting in Doge, but you done missed the wave. You know what I'm saying? You being reactive. So pivot now, pay later is really trying to get our people to understand that if you don't make a change right now, you're definitely gonna pay for it later. Yeah. There's no way to avoid being in technology. And here's the thing. So I spend all that time in tech, but I don't love coding. You know, my skill set is conversation, strategy. I can put stuff together. Yeah. I understand how everything works. So when I moved into product ownership. You know, I was a business analyst for a while. I understand all the intermakings of how to speak the language, but also to know what we're trying to do as a business. So sometimes people think I got to know how to code. I got to love the code. I can't sit still for an hour. You know what I'm saying? If you work with me, one thing you're gonna know is Quawn don't sit still. Like I work in spurts, and they don't really, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think for people to understand, like, get into tech, get your foot in the door, and then find out what your skill set is, and then there's a job for that. You know, if you are good at, if you're good at breaking things down, if you're good at being analytical, if you're good with just conversation and being able to speak to multiple people and translate language, there's a lane for that too. Yeah. You know, so it's just, there's a lane in tech. Tech is not all code, and I think some people have that, that misconception. So
47% of last time I looked this up was about 3 or 4 months ago, but 47% of jobs in tech are considered non-technical roles. Right. So it's almost half of them. Yeah, one of the things I love about y'all's just that saying that pivot now or pay later is that one of the reasons I started talking about tech after I got into the industry was two-part. One, it was because I was like, yo, this industry's dope. It's a lot of money. It's really great. But the other part was that I was like, when I started realizing, every company is becoming a tech company. Every company is becoming a tech company. Yeah. It really was kind of like seeing the writing on the wall where I was like, hey, y'all, for those of y'all who, either one, you're not making really great money, it's like, you should consider this industry. Yeah. But it's like for those of y'all that are making pretty good money, but you're doing something that you don't realize is either going to be obsolete because of tech, or your competitors are going to outcompete you because they're going to use technology to lap you. Yeah. I was like, y'all need to be aware of this tech industry and what's happening. And now, of course, robotics, AI is booming right now. Yeah. And so it's like on one end, I think there's a threat where it's like, a lot of people in our community, especially people in our community that are working in jobs where it's like minimum wage or it's like just barely above minimum wage. It's like, a lot of those jobs are about to be automated and you're going to be replaced, but then even outside of that, it's like, there are other people that don't realize, there's other technology that you can use and you can leverage to like help your business or help whatever it is that you're doing. And so, so to the point of you saying like our community tends to miss the wave, and that's happened throughout history within our community, whether it's with real estate, whether it's with us learning about like the power of investing. It's like, we're always so late to the game where it's like, this is an opportunity where it's like, this industry is about to be booming for a while.
And you know what? Reason why we always late to the game, it just seems like when people are delivering the information, we don't believe it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, he's capping. Yeah. Oh, he don't know what he's talking about. Oh, he just want our money. You know what I mean? Like, so our mindset shifts, and then somebody's giving us this is the wave, this is what's happening, and then we go against the grain, and then we look up, and then it really happens, but it's 3-4 years out. And we too late.
Yeah, that's very true. I do know. I've seen because probably January last year is when I first started talking about tech on my page, and the first few months, and I was telling people like, and one of the things that's hard to grab people's attention is like, people were like, okay, well, what's in it? Yeah. So I was like, okay, I realized saying 6 figures was an easy way to catch people's attention.
Right.
And it was so interesting to me how so many people thought I was lying. They said, oh man, they're like, this guy's capping. There's no way you gonna do a boot camp and then get a job making 6 figures. Yeah. And then that was part of the reason I started doing IG lives, and eventually when I was like, start a podcast, I said there are people making 7 figures in this industry. So I started bringing. So now no one thinks it's cap. They know, okay, this is legit. But it's hilarious to me. I always know when somebody just started following me, or they just are randomly jumping on my page. They'll jump in the comments and be like, this guy's lying. There's no way. Yeah. And it's like, now I don't even have to comment. The community would jump on that person and be like, oh, you must be new here. Like, it's like, you know, brought out so many people making a lot of money. It's like,
the receipts in itself.
For real. So, but I think people have been so scammed so much. Yeah. So now they don't realize it. But the thing about this industry is that it's like, this isn't some, I hate to say it, this isn't some like new Forex, MLM. Right. This is the tech industry. This has been here for a minute. We just haven't been aware or privy to it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think to that point, you know, in the finance game, Forex, you know, social media is full of, it's loud and a lot of people telling you to do this. So you have to be mindful of what's real. But here's the thing, like, we are part of this organization now called 110. So it's an organization where all these different CEOs came together, and essentially after the George Floyd situation happened. Yeah. So like, it's CEOs all over the country that came together, and they're gonna get 1 million black folks living, family sustaining wages over the next 10 years, right? And then in different, that's up to 6 figures, right? Yeah. And so they're removing like the 4-year degree requirement in all these different organizations. Man. We just had a meeting last week with a Delta CEO. They just put all these jobs on the Delta, like high level jobs that no longer require a 4-year degree. Yeah. So now you got boot camps. So people are like, what if I don't have a degree? You don't need it no more, because these companies can't compete. Like, if you keep these requirements, they gonna keep snatching your folks. These startups popping up, y'all got these antiquated ways, you know what I'm saying? Lowballing salaries, crazy education requirements, and it's coming over here paying $150,000, no degree. So people are leaving. That's why they can't keep people. Yeah. So the time is now, because you got leverage. You know what I'm saying? If you get that, and if you know how to market yourself, if you know how to network. The people that come through our school that understand the power of networking, man, they success. We get people that get jobs before they graduate. Yeah. Because they understand the power of leveraging. We got partners coming in, they meeting all these different people. Hey, connect with these folks, right? Yeah. These people are gonna be your potential employers, and people that understand that power, they're successful. We just gotta get the other people to wake up to know we can't drag you to the water now. We can't drag you.
So you're already been touching on it, but just to, like, Josh, can you, I guess, add to it, like, what is the value of a boot camp compared to someone doing a traditional college?
Yeah, so it's just accelerated learning. Yeah. So what you'll learn in 4 years, so we skip all the math and pet science and
all of the BS that you ain't gonna
kickball and all that. Like, we skip all that and get straight to the business. Yeah. So it is compact. And so, like, our software engineering program, it may take 10 months. Mm-hmm. Data analytics, cybersecurity may take 6 to 8 months. Yeah. But it's just compact learning. So it's really a boot camp. So when you think about the Army and their boot camp phase, where they're doing all these push-ups and waking up at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm a Marine, and Eric is a seaman. So we both did boot camps.
Okay, there you go. So you know the boot camp experience.
Yeah, it's very compact, but it's like intense.
It's very intense. So when you come and you want to sign up to go to a boot camp, you have to realize that it's going to be very, very fast learning. Yeah. And you're going to have to really put in the work. Yeah. And everybody that comes to our program that puts in the work are successful. Yeah. The people that are lazy but don't put in the work are not successful. It's just what it is.
That's a pattern I've seen. And I talked to a lot of recruiters and others about that, where it's like, you can see, I mean, we just had a guest on earlier, and he's a recruiter in big tech, and he was saying how he sees that too. But,
so it's just like, people have to really take this opportunity serious and say, okay, I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to develop the soft skills. I'm going to go and I'm going to spend more. I tell people, you have to spend more time on LinkedIn than you do on Instagram.
Yes. Okay? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, spend more time on LinkedIn navigating, networking, letting people know that, hey, I'm new to tech.
Yes.
Do y'all have any opportunities? Are there some apprenticeships? Are there some, things that I can get into to get my feet wet? I want to create my first opportunity while you're in the program. So by the time you get out and graduate, then you're able to have your first opportunity.
We need to run that back a third time. I want to make sure y'all hear this. For those of y'all who've done a boot camp and those of y'all that are going to do Pivot boot camp, what should they do? What social media app should they chill out on? And which one should they focus on if they really trying to get to this tech bag in the boot camp or after the boot camp?
All right. So this is my slogan that I always use. And I say, Instagram is for the show. LinkedIn is for the dough. Come on. All right?
We need some sound effects for that. Those are great facts.
Yes, Instagram is for the show. LinkedIn is for the dough. So if you're trying to get to the bag, you need to get on LinkedIn, start networking. Everybody that you want to ever meet is on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You have every CEO, COO, recruiters, HR. Like you have everybody there.
It's so much money on there.
And
people
it's
don't realize.
so much money. So even if, and here's a hack. So sometimes you have different tiers on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Where you can't really reach that CEO in his DM. You can't reach him. But you can comment on his post. You can comment on his post. You can leave value on his post. Yeah. And then he may go to his inbox and say, oh, okay, that's the person that left value on my post. Yeah. And reach out to you. So we built our company off LinkedIn.
Yeah. Wow.
And so literally the same kind of content I drop on Instagram, I just tailor it for LinkedIn and make a LinkedIn ask.
Yes.
So it may be our same sauce, but it's just that LinkedIn ask. Hey, we're trying to develop these relationships and partnerships. If you know anybody, can you please connect us? And I do that every single day.
That's so crazy that you said that. One of the ways I grew my brand on LinkedIn, and I'm rarely post on LinkedIn now, but one of the ways that I had so after I broke into tech and I was like, okay, I'm so new in this industry and I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I make myself stand out? I was like, I can't make myself stand out knowledge-wise because I'm brand new. Yeah. And so I started taking my content on Instagram where you do like a audio meme or something. Yeah. And maybe the caption on Instagram was telling people about how dope the tech industry is. Yeah. I started stripping those videos from Instagram, posting them on LinkedIn, but I was writing over the caption and making the caption be something like, oh, when you're a sales engineer and your account executive says this. Yeah. And in that, I didn't realize how that started making me go viral on LinkedIn. Yeah, so it's like, just again, I'm going to say it for the fourth time. Like he said, if you're on these other social media apps and you're working to get in tech, take your content that you post on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, put it on LinkedIn, repurpose the content for something regarding whatever role you want to be in. You can go viral really fast on LinkedIn. Yes. And now you're not going viral for the sake of likes, but now for the sake of tech recruiters, hiring managers, senior level people seeing you, giving you 6-figure careers with amazing sign-on bonuses. It's like people are really sleeping on it for real.
Yeah, so even if oh, there we go. So somebody put the so now you see on Instagram where people are doing voiceovers, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're in the boot camp, so you just record yourself learning how to code. You may show the instructor teaching you. Then you may show that, you just got to show your day in the life. Drop that on Instagram and say, hey, I'm in the grind. Yeah. I'm learning X, Y, and Z, but I'm prepared for my first opportunity. Yeah. Look at my project. It's just doing those type of things that make you stand out.
Man, I think so to kind of go a little further on the point about the value of boot camps versus like a college. I know some of the things that I've seen behind the scenes. I know a lot of colleges. So you've already touched on, I think, Quawn, you have spoken on this about how colleges are realizing, we're losing. What businesses in general are losing talent because they're trying to say, or they've been saying for years, oh, you have to have a 4-year degree, versus a lot of tech companies and startups are like, we don't care if you have a degree and we'll pay you a better salary. Yeah. Now, a lot of the other businesses are like, hold up now. Okay, we need to also implement this as well. But I've been noticing a lot of colleges are starting to try to create boot camps because they're realizing, the college is starting to become a thing where they're losing a lot of students. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and there's no knock to anybody with a degree, because I respect them, but you got to understand, college is a business within itself, right? So the business of college is revenue. You understand? So when it comes down to can I do a job, it's the main difference between coming to Pivot versus going to a university. We're gonna teach you how to do a job. Yeah. We're not going back to Cobalt. We're not gonna teach you the origin of where programming came from. We're not gonna take you back. We're gonna teach you
unnecessary information.
Here's how you can be a data analyst in 20 weeks, right? Here's what the employers are looking for.
Yeah.
Here are the soft skills you need to have. Here's how you need to interview. Here's how you pass a tech interview, right? Here's all the different components to get a job. Here's how you sell yourself to get a job.
That's good.
It's all tailored about employment and then being successful when you get in. College is trying to make you a well-rounded individual and give you all this background, and it's cool, but it's a business. They want to keep you there for 4 years. The longer you're there, the more money they make. You understand?
Yeah. And they don't. One of the things I say is like they don't care about if you get a job after.
Nah,
it's just okay. Go through the program. You pay us $80,000, $100,000. And we never see you again. If anything, if you become successful, we're gonna ask for you to keep paying us money, which is crazy to me.
Your part, right? So I think like people are really, and here's the thing: this new generation that we have coming in, they different, right? So. Colleges, companies, people are having to adjust, and people are understanding the power, the freedom, and information is everywhere. Like, why do I need to go and sit in a university for 4 years when I can get on YouTube, I can go in here, I can go this place? You can come to the boot camp, learn how to do something, continue to learn. Once we give you the foundation, you just take those principles, add to them. You're gonna leave here $5,000. You come to Pivot, maybe spend $5,000, $5,000 to $10,000. You done. Your ROI is that you making $75 to $100 in the first year.
Your first, second paycheck has covered it.
You done made that money back tenfold.
Yeah.
But it's a mindset shift that we got to have. So our community still sometimes has a scarcity mentality, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes the reason people don't believe it is because they can't believe what they never seen. So when you said exposure was key for me, that's why, like me and Josh, that's one reason why we keep, for one, we stay true to ourselves. So we're not we're the traditional tech school founders that you're gonna see, because we want to get your attention to let you know you don't have to change who you are to become successful. I love that you stay drippy, you know what I'm saying? It's like, people think you gotta be a square to be in tech. Nah, man, it's like, it's money, you can stay yourself. It's so many lanes, so many avenues. You don't have to code. You don't have to code switch. You know what I'm saying? You none of that, bro. It's just, but if you don't get involved, you're going to stay a consumer, bro. You're going to stay on the gram, posting this, and they're going to drive where your attention goes. Mm-hmm. Becoming an engineer, getting into that lane of development, now you developing where we going to go. You're going to develop what the next 10 years are going to look like. Yeah. You got the power and the control to do that. So that's where we got to become producers.
Yes.
Stop being consumers, become producers, and we got to stop being like last minute to the, be the last to the show.
Yeah. Man, stop being last to the show, man.
So,
hey, what's good? I'm Eric Bates, video producer and strategist here at Tech is the New Black. And if you're interested in what our guest is talking about and want to do data analytics, software development, or cybersecurity, we need you to go ahead and check out Pivot Tech. They're a highly awarded virtual tech bootcamp that offers mentorship and career placement. And we've partnered with them to offer our audience a discount of up to $300 off. That's right, $300. So use the referral code Tech is the New Black and keep us posted on your journey.
Barry, you dropped so many bombs right there. Yeah. Oh man, this is gonna be good, man. I hope y'all, those of y'all that are tuning in right now with the Patreon community, let us know what y'all thinking about this in the chat. And so also make sure y'all have y'all questions prepared as well, because again, towards the end of the interview, we're going to address the questions that y'all have for Josh and Quawn. Whether it's about Pivot, whether it's about, again, we have, both of them are entrepreneurs at this point, but we have someone who has an extensive tech background. We have someone who has an extensive entrepreneurial and business background. So even if it's questions regarding those things, or questions regarding Pivot, or questions regarding Hood Geeks, or whatever it might be, make sure that y'all do have y'all questions prepared. That being said, so with this, Josh, what would you say has been the experience with, or some of the hurdles with having a boot camp? One being having a tech boot camp, two, being like black men who have a boot camp, and then three, having a boot camp that is open to everyone but has a bit of a proclivity towards like people who look like us.
Yes. So I would say we came in the game at perfect timing.
Okay.
So when we launched Pivot, and then the pandemic happened, and we was gonna really just be a brick and mortar local Nashville impact. Yeah, we was really just focused on Nashville, and then the pandemic happened, and it just really accelerated. We could reach the world now.
Yeah.
We can be global. Yeah. We don't have to be a local. So I think timing really helped corporations embrace us to say, okay, yes, there is a problem. We really want to diversify tech. So being black men, owning a tech school, still being ourselves, that really opened up a lot of doors for us where they was like, I think timing is everything. And if we was trying to get ready in 2020, I think we wouldn't have been successful. But we was already ready, and then everything started to happen, and where the community embraced it, where corporations embraced it. But from the challenging standpoint is that sometimes our community, they think they don't see. How do I say this in a really good way? Because I don't want to offend anybody. You know what I'm saying?
If you say it in a bad way, Eric will edit it.
Okay, edit it out. Okay, But I just think sometimes that when black people see other black people running in a lane they've never seen black people run in, they automatically think it's a scam.
Oh yeah.
Or they automatically think that, we trying to get over on somebody, or that, the entitlement kicks in. Where it's like, you gotta get me a job, or like they don't want to put in the work at times. And so we have those challenges where, you won't come to us, but you'll go and pay $35,000 to go to the boot camp that's at the university, but then calling us to get us connected to jobs. Yeah. So it's like, no, that's so disrespectful. You're gonna pay them, but won't pay us to do we doing the same thing, but we got connections. We're connected in the industry. We got big corporations that are backing what we're doing. Yeah. So we can get you in the door. You just got to put in the work. But, just those type of challenges of, hey, yes, we run a legitimate organization. Yeah. We're legitimate businessmen, and we're going to give you a skill set. We're going to give you some tools that you can go out here and be successful. So just like any other organization that you may go to, or any other boot camp that you may go to, I feel like we're better than a lot of them.
All of them.
All of them, you know what I'm saying? So that, I would say that's kind of like some of the challenges that we kind of face.
Yeah. Man, no, that's really tough. And I believe that. I definitely believe that. Just I've spoken to, communicated with a variety of tech boot camps that are out there. I'm always getting feedback from people who've done programs. I've only heard good stuff from the couple people that I've spoken to who've done Pivot. And one of the things that I've seen lacking is either I've seen programs where the founder never worked in tech, or I've seen programs where the founder worked in tech but didn't know anything about business and about staffing and about those other components. And that's something I think makes y'all extremely dangerous in a good way, is really the duality of what both of y'all bring to the table, that I think students and aspiring students, or people who are aspiring to be in tech, should really see the value of when it comes to Pivot.
Yeah. And then I always pitch that tech, the income in tech should inspire you to, if you don't even want to have a career in tech, leverage the income to fund your dream. So that's what I'm pushing now. Hey, you don't even got to like tech, but if you making $30,000 right now, right? I can get you to $100,000, right? And you can take that $100,000 and leverage to do whatever you like to do in the next 5 years, because you got to work either way. So that's my thing. If you're in my family, you my people, you getting in tech. I don't care if you want to do it for a career or not. Trying to get you have no more options no more, right? Don't, if you ain't in tech, don't talk to me about helping with nothing. Sign up for the boot camp, take the boot camp, just talk after that, right? So get into tech, because right now you working anyway. You Uber driving, you're doing all these different things that you don't like doing, right? And you're not making no money. So get into tech and do something else you don't like doing, but make some money though, right? When you rather be making $150,000, not like your job. That's my thing. So because at that point, then you have power. Because listen, money is power. It is. Money gives you leverage, right? Yeah. And then so me, man, I could go back right now and take a $300,000-$400,000 salary. So just knowing that makes me move a different way. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not stressed about nothing because I know my value, right? Yeah. And I know my value to the marketplace. So it's like, yo, increase your value because right now people have entitlement, but they have no value to offer to the marketplace.
Bro, that's such
so where is your value? Where's the value at? Yeah. So, I think that's the biggest piece, though. It's like, you don't have to love tech. You don't have to want to call. You don't have to stay there forever. But it's going to give you so much leverage and value to the marketplace that your life going to change after that.
Yeah. Bro, I love that. Like, there's so many like dualities to, I guess, my experience when I'm talking to people and what you said. Because, oftentimes people will message me and they're like, well, yeah. They're like, I mean, am I going to love it though? And I'm like, well, first off, I don't have a crystal ball. Right. Second off, I don't know who you are. Right. Like, you're, somebody random in my DMs. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what are you doing now? Oh, I'm doing this. You don't love what you're doing. Yeah. You're making 35K, 40K. Right. And it's like, well, worst case scenario, you won't enjoy it, but you'll be making 3 times what you make now. Nice. And I'm always telling people, I'm like, look, I don't know whether or not you're going to love what you do in tech, right. But I'm like, it's like use the money to put it into what you love to do. Yeah. And it's like, cause at that point, if you love to travel, okay, you can travel a lot more now. And now if you're working remote, you could really be traveling all the time working remote. It's like, okay, you don't really care about traveling. Okay, let's say you're a foodie. Now you can go to every single But I went to so many restaurants since I got in tech, restaurants I could never afford before. Now I realize most of these restaurants they all serve the same thing. They all serve the same thing.
But it does, and it gives you your time back, right? So I forget sometimes that people still drive to work. Like because I'm never in traffic no more, right? And I heard you post about that one time.
I seen that post. I was right here.
And I'm typically going the opposite way of the traffic because I never have a reason to be going in the city at 8 o'clock or whenever everybody's in traffic. But I forget that so many people spend 2 hours a day driving into the city. That's but most people in the tech job, is remote work. Yeah. You can be at the beach. I could have came here on a Tuesday and done a podcast and went back to Starbucks and finished working. You know what I'm saying? You have so much leverage. It gives you so much freedom to just experience life where you're not stuck in a cubicle for 30 years of your life. Yeah. You can just get out and enjoy the life. And I think so many people just have themselves stuck in a box. Yeah. If we can just get people that I'm big on mindset coaching now because I realize one of the biggest hurdles that people have is just how they see themselves, right? And the mindset that they have. And when people are asking all these questions, these are the doubts. These are the internal doubts that they're trying to fight through, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like being able to see yourself in a bigger light, well, then you will embrace the opportunity. Mm-hmm. But we get people to come in here, they give imposter syndrome is real. Yeah. I'm sure you done felt it. Like I remember the first time I got the job, bro, and I'm in there writing some SQL, and I've been studying this shit forever, man. And I'm writing it, and I got to hit submit, and this is some production stuff. Yeah. Like I was scared, bro. Like I'm like, yo, I'm finna bring the whole company down because hey, and it just took. So I'm sitting there with this dude. He a software engineer. He had been like 20 years in the game, right? And I'm like, yo, this dude is the GOAT. So he's coding, and he gets stuck. Dude hops on Google, types goes on Stack Overflow, gets the formula. I'm like, so you don't know everything? It's like, hell no, I don't know everything. I'm like, oh shit, dude, you know what? So then you realize all these people you think like, man, they don't know everything, bro. No. You don't have to remember everything. Yeah.
And it's impossible to know everything in this industry. Yeah.
Leverage. So we teach, man, leverage Google. Yeah. You don't have to just know what you can do.
I'd be leverage ChatGPT.
Hey, look, right. So, but leverage the tools. Know what the tools are. Yeah. Once you know what things are, that's how you gotta remember, man. I know how to go find the answers. I don't need to know all the answers.
Yo, this is good. So we have one question left, but before doing that, I want to make sure those of y'all in the Patreon community that y'all have been posting y'all questions in the chat. If you haven't posted your question in the chat yet, this is the time to do it because we're about to wrap up. I'm going to ask them one more question, and then we're going to pivot over to the questions that y'all have been submitting in the chat. So last question I have for y'all before we jump into the question in the comments. So a lot is happening in this industry right now. Industry's booming. It's crazy. Even with the layoffs, I always say like the tech industry is, I always take that quote from Gucci where it's like, tech companies are like buses. Miss one, next 15, one coming. It's like people are like, oh, this company did all these layoffs, which again, that's serious. I don't want to downplay that, but it's like every week there are new tech companies popping up that are hiring. Every week there are tech companies that have gotten a round of millions of dollars from investors, and they have to use that money to hire 100, 200, 300 plus people. Yeah. So it's like there's never going to be a shortage of jobs that are out there. It's going to be ebbs and flows, but either way, it's still going to be like a lot of opportunities that are out there. What do y'all see, whether from technology, whether from boot camps versus colleges, whether from jobs, whatever it might be, what do y'all see or predict seeing in the next like 5 to 10 years?
I just predict that if our people do not get into tech, it's going to be like almost like the slavery.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really that kind of drastic where AI is going to be taking customer service roles.
Yes.
You know, robots are more getting into fast food. So all the things that we have traditionally embraced.
Yeah, as like okay, at least you can get this type of job.
Yeah, like all those things are changing.
Yeah.
So if we don't say that, okay, now I can see how AI is taking advantage and I need to go ahead and get a skill set that I can continue to learn, like our people are going to get left behind.
Yeah.
So when we talk about generational wealth and we talk about all these things about leaving something for our kids and things of that nature, if we don't have a skill set, if we ain't not making no money, we can't buy a house.
Yeah.
We can't invest. So I just feel like the time is now for our people to embrace what is happening and be proactive instead of reactive.
Yes.
That's what I see.
I feel like it's irresponsible to not get into tech on some level at this point. I feel like if you are an adult or a teenager, someone that's gonna be in the workforce for the next 30 to 40 years and you don't have any tech knowledge and you're not even considering, I think it's irresponsible. I think you're not like everything is hiding in plain sight, and one of the things I saw that happens, so the Web3 that's coming out, and it's gonna happen, right? Yeah. NFTs is still a thing, right? Yeah. So what we missed with NFTs was the FOMO portion of it, right? The part where everybody can get in and get rich real quick, right? But it's almost like as they continue to build this virtual reality world that we're gonna live in, it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Ownership of these things are gonna be crucial, right? Because once everyone's attention, wherever your attention at, that's where the value goes, right?
Yes.
So once people are spending so much of their time in a virtual world, then whoever has ownership in the world, that's where the value is gonna be.
Yeah.
So there's no value until there's attention there, and attention will be there. So I think it would be irresponsible of us to say, oh, there's no more money. I can't get rich in NFTs no more. I'm done with that. I can't get rich in the blockchain no more. I'm done with that. You got to stay tuned in to what's happening because people are changing the world right before our eyes, and we just going. You know what I'm saying? We just dancing on TikTok, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just and I feel like our community has to value information as much as we value entertainment, right?
Bro, that's a bar.
We got to, and I think so we got to find out how to make it information and make this entertaining so we can grab the attention. Yeah. But we got to find some way to value that, bro. And it's like, if we don't, like Josh said, we're gonna. They got AI right now that can be your AI will be doing all customer service. It won't be a need for anybody to have standard conversations. That's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like any job that you have right now where you make it $20, $25 an hour, those jobs will probably not be there in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Nobody really cares. What you gonna do? They don't really care.
Yeah,
it's up to you to figure it out.
Yeah, because the companies are gonna save money. So they're like it's gonna save us millions of dollars. Yeah. It's gonna save us time efficiency. We're not gonna have to. I just said this the other day. I was like, yo. I had an Instacart delivery over $100. For whatever reason, the delivery person, they hit me up, said I'm here, and then they just left. They told I was okay. I'm coming down the elevator right now. They just left, and I said something to the concierge, the front desk. I said, man, I can't wait till these robots replace them. Yeah. And I'm like,
I had the same thing happen to me with Instacart.
Yeah.
So pivot now. Or pay later.
Pivot now or pay later. All right, so we got a question from the Patreon community asking the founders of Pivot Technology, they have a relationship, a partnership. I don't want to over talk what it is, but they have a relationship with
CompTIA.
Yeah, CompTIA. And so they had asked about any other types of certifications that they either might have partnerships with or might offer.
So right now we have, so with the CompTIA certification, you can get, if you have, you can get A+ or Security Plus and Network Plus. Yeah. We are working on a partnership with Microsoft where you'll be able to offer certifications with Microsoft. And, you know, we're just trying to make sure that we find the value, right? We don't want people getting certifications for the sake of, because it hasn't been a barrier, although we know it makes people feel better to have that piece of paper, but we don't want people to replace degrees with certifications and make it a new requirement that's not necessary.
Exactly.
So we do have these relationships, but we're still trying to make sure we can find the value in them and see that companies are really requiring these before we put too much emphasis on them.